Well, and hello. We're rolling out the red carpet for you. Welcome to the most complete tarot reading on the internet. This podcast is more than a tarot reading, however. It's a metaphysical package, different parts and pieces cobbled together to create a complete picture of the energy frequency in this reading. Now, the essential point is to help you to manifest from your spirit. Manifesting creates your life. Manifesting is your kryptonite. It allows you to have both the independence and, most importantly, the responsibility to follow your spiritual destiny in this lifetime. We all come here with a different spiritual destiny. When we choose that, I don't know. Nobody knows. But at some point prior to birth, we are all hit with a frequency of our life. That's why you're different from your brothers and your sisters, even though you were raised in the same house, primarily with the same parents. It's just we're here for different reasons. Not everybody is here to be rich, famous, good-looking, any of that stuff. We have a different goal given to us in the 5D. When you come to the 3D, that transition from 3 to 5D, that gets to be a little difficult. But you have to follow your spiritual destiny. Otherwise, your life is like walking on a treadmill. You move, but you're not going anywhere. Focus for today is the land of milk and honey. That is complete sustenance. Believe it or not, 3, 4, 5,000 years ago, before we got big corporations, greedy corporations, psychopathic corporations in the way of our food, we had organic honey, we had organic raw milk, and those two things could sustain life. In fact, they were considered 4 or 5,000 years ago to be absolutely the superior nutrition of all. Milk and honey, my God, you got it all. And we know that there's truth to it because we know that those people who can access raw milk today, organic milk today, it's powerful juju. And we have investigated geologically sites that are 3,000, 4,000 years ago, back to Egypt and beyond. We found honey 5,000 years old that is still edible, is still good, still carries all the benefits and nutrition. 5,000 years, no refrigeration, nothing. So the idea of land of milk and honey means life, sustainable life. And so what we're going for today is you are looking for a sustainable life. Right now, the life that most of us are living is not sustainable. It would take nothing to bring us to our knees. The reason they're wanting us to have electric everything, including cars, is so they control the electricity. They can shut down the grid and parts and pieces or all of it. And without electricity, you have no computer, no television, no radio, no lights, no appliances. You have nothing. You have automatically gone back to the year 1800. That's all you got to do is flip the switch. Done. Or some sort of natural catastrophe, maybe solar sunspot type thing, or something else going on, some subterfuge. But all they have to do is turn off the power. We're back in 1800, and you and I aren't going to make it. So we're right on the edge. So we need to make sure that we're going for a sustainable life. How do we continue not just to live, but to prosper? And I don't mean money. I mean life. You get right down to life. Life is what? Having enough food, having adequate shelter, having a purpose in life, hopefully people who you like, who you love. That's life. It's not the things. And so the Tao Manifesting Tarot reading is meant to inspire you to make a life movie inside your head. That's what you go for. You're going for that sustainable life. And it comes from within you, not from some damn computer, smartphone, desktop, laptop, AI, none of that shit. None of that. And in fact, when you use that, you actually make yourself dumber. Studies are showing that we have in the last 10 years lost 9 points on average on our IQ. That's a hell of a big drop. We're getting dumber, and the reason is we're leaning into these machines. Oh, think for me. You're the real power. You need to create from your spirit, not some electronic device. Tarot is literally your vehicle for transformation. However, Being the science of potential, we have a little bit of homework to do. We got to figure out what the base, what the foundation is, and that's where I go to astrology, numerology. It adds a lot to the reading. It gives you the basis, because whatever situation you're in, which is kind of sort of broadly predicted or dictated by the numerology and astrology, because that's the science of cycles, and we just keep repeating cycles over and over and over and over and over again. If you know what cycle you're in, if you know what the mood is, what the feeling is, you now begin to be able to manifest better. So we do the numerology and astrology to establish a base of information, and then we go focus on the tarot. Okay, that's what we do. So using numerology, astrology together with tarot gives you a reading that you can see, that you can hear, you can feel, you can taste, you can touch, ideally. So let's begin with the foundational information I was just talking about, astrologic. Been spending a lot of time and will continue to spend a lot of time on the planetary setup, especially the far away planets like Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, Pluto, because those are the really heavy duty change makers. The farther away, the more profound. Pluto the most, then Neptune, then Uranus, and Saturn and Jupiter, little pushes, little nudges. But you got to get that foundation. You have to get that feeling. For example, Pluto, Uranus are in the same spot right now, essentially, that they were 250 years ago when we started the United States of America. Declaration of Independence, July 4, 1776. You look back, and you see that Uranus was in the place it is now. Pluto's in the place it is now. What took 250 years was Pluto takes 250 years to go around one time in our solar system. So it's finally here. Boom, our birthday, 250th birthday, next summer, July 4th, 2026. So they're here, and we know what happened in July 4th, 1776, and earlier, the American Revolution, which was also a form of evolution. At least it was an attempt at it anyway. What do we got going on right now in the world? Same thing. Evolution, we're trying to evolve as a species. Revolution, we're trying to change so that we can evolve, and it's the same energy. That's important to know. So, we look at all the planetary configurations for this year, and we find that all those far planets are in pretty favorable positions with one another, meaning there's an easy flow of energy. That does not mean, however, that things are going to be good. It just means there's an easy flow of energy. Now, as we were getting through June, Jupiter, which was in Gemini along with Uranus, nice favorable aspects to Pluto, nice favorable aspects to Neptune, Saturn. Things are kind of moving along. We didn't see things clearly because of the Saturn-Neptune conjunction. They're together. Fog and form don't work very well together. So we had a little bit of we weren't really seeing what's going on. We were more sensing what's going on. But when Jupiter in June went into, by the early part of July, went into Cancer, the next sign, we got very emotional, because Cancer is all about family, emotions, security. And right now, Jupiter's in Cancer, going to stay there probably till summer next year. So that's the trigger point. It's out of sync with the other faraway planets. So what we're going to be doing is finding out more about what is home, what's security, what's safety, what's love, what's connection, what's family. With Jupiter in Cancer, home and emotions and security are up front. That energy, Jupiter in Cancer, however, creates problems, because we're looking for answers, and Jupiter squares, or is in a very unfavorable aspect to Neptune and Saturn in Aries. And so we're going to have these, what the hell are you doing to me? 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 Kind of scenarios coming up. And that's going to force us to make some changes, to make some adjustments. Not going to be easy, not going to be fun, but has to be done. If we do it right, next summer, Jupiter will be in Leo, setting up a nice favorable aspect to all the planets again, the faraway planets again, and we can move forward and try to accomplish more. But basically, for the next year or so, with Jupiter in Cancer and the other planets in air and fire signs, it's what the hell are you doing to me? What the hell are you doing to me? What the hell are you doing to me? Let's take a look at the meme. I brought this one up because the meme is not necessarily tied to what we're talking about on the day, but it brings up some interesting points to think about. You know that the Titanic was the setup for the Fed, the national bank in Washington. They had 4 or 5 very influential, rich people on there who stood in the way of the other rich people who wanted the Fed. We've had the Fed, or its equivalent, twice in the United States up to that point. They wanted a third time, and this time they wanted it just to stick, and there were about 4 or 5 people standing in the way, and they said, no more. So J.P. Morgan, owner of the Titanic, planned this big adventure on the Titanic, the best ship in the world, unsinkable, da 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 da. And they put these 4 or 5 people on the Titanic, and of course it went down. About a half a year later, guess what? The Fed happened. They got rid of the opposition, which they do regularly, and they got the Fed. We have paid the price for it ever since. So J.P. Morgan, last minute, he was going to go, but the last minute he decided, no, I can't. I got work to do. Larry Silverstein, the guy that owned the 9/11 towers, last minute he did not go into his office in the Twin Towers. So J.P. Morgan backs away, the Titanic sinks. Larry Silverstein walks away from the 9/11 towers. They get destroyed. Both men received the largest insurance payouts in all of history. So they profited. Interesting. And they got their way. Even more interesting. Just a little food for thought in today's meme. Let's move to the tarot. We got the World card. That's the first card up. World card talks about wholeness, integration. That's what you're doing. Remember, we got Jupiter in Cancer. Family, security, home. I wanna feel safe. I wanna feel connected. And the World card says that's what you're going for. Wholeness, integration. It's not going to be easy, and it's going to be come and go because they got that rough aspect to the Saturn and Neptune. You're going to see it and then it disappears. You're going to see it and then it disappears. It's just going to keep doing that. But in so doing, if you apply yourself, you're getting closer to the truth. Next card, the Fool card. What you're going to need is faith. And by that I mean not stupid faith where God's going to provide. Maybe he does. Maybe he does. I don't know. But I remember growing up, one way to know if you have faith is to do your actions back it up. It's not just simply saying the words. It's doing the stuff that backs up what you say you feel. And that's what you're going to have to do. You're going to have to look at the family. You're going to have to look at the love connection. You're going to have to look at you of security. And you're going to have to do it by faith. Because that's what the Fool card is all about. He's not stupid. He's not asinine. He knows. But he is going in faith. I believe and I'm going to prove it. Look at, he's standing on a cliff. He's not just mouthing the words. He's doing the deed. That's what we have to do. Next card is the Two of Wands. Okay, so you realize that you're working towards wholeness, integration, safety, security, connection. And you decided, I'm going to free my spirit up to welcome that. I'm not going to fight it. I'm going to have work to do, but I'm not going to fight it. I want this land of milk and honey. I want this connection. I want this Jupiter Cancer stuff. I want to feel safe, secure, protected. I got to do it myself. And that's what you're visioning right here. Literally, the Two of Wands is a manifesting card. That's exactly what this person is doing, is manifesting. That's what you and I have to do, most especially in the next year. That's it for the reading. Back again tomorrow with another. Please like and subscribe. It's important for anybody on the internet, any podcaster. If you are trying to tell the truth, if you are trying to help people to see the light, you're the enemy. So please help us help you. Like and subscribe. Between now and the next time you and I do Manifested Tarot together, peace and blessings.